And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way and adore my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back to Fanboy Fridays. Fanboys, we hope your day is going terrible. And we hope to make it a little bit worse with this video. Recently, Kenny Smith was on the Come and Talk to Me podcast with Mark Jackson and his son. And they normally on that podcast get into the GOAT debate. That is normally one of the questions that they ask the guests. And so they asked Kenny Smith, and Kenny Smith went into a variety of reasons. Not only why Michael Jordan is the GOAT, but they also talked about the fact that, you know, the average player today couldn't, they would be average or below average in past eras. And I completely agree with this. He even said a lot of them, you know, probably wouldn't even make the team. This is facts. Just due to the rule changes, you know, again, a lot of these average players who think they would go back and dominate do not understand how the rules have made it so much easier for them. And Kenny Smith actually talked about this, not only talked about it, but actually demonstrated how hand checking would affect you, how hand checking would affect your handles. Again, and I've said this on this channel probably since the beginning of me doing this channel, is that, you know, you cannot say these players are more skilled when they're not playing under the same circumstances. I've said that. A lot of these players who you think got great handles, it's a different thing with hand checking. And Kenny Smith did bring out one point that, you know, I thought was a great point. He said, you know, the way these players dribble today in the NBA is really what you used to see in street ball, in a lot of street ball games. Because the NBA, you know, it was rougher. So you would see guys doing things, you know, on the court in street ball that they would not be able to do in the NBA. Just to obviously the level of skill being more in the NBA, you know, and even though street ball could be rough, it's a difference when you have someone who is not only hand checking you, but who is hand checking you, who was great enough to get in the NBA at all. So yeah, a lot of the moves, what you would see in the NBA today is really moves that you would see on the street ball level back in the day. So to me, that says a lot about how the game has actually devolved when it has become easy enough that these players can do all these ridiculous moves, not to mention, like I said, the fact that they don't call a lot of the traveling and whatnot in today's game. I was just watching a move that someone played on Facebook of LeBron James doing this spin move, and it was the most horrific carry I may have seen in the last year, maybe. I mean, it was just a straight up carry. And then, you know, they were playing this in slow motion. I was thinking, like, playing this in slow motion was the worst thing you could have did, because in slow motion, it is undoubtedly a carry. But anyway. So, yeah, Kenny Smith went into detail a lot about things. I think he gave a lot of great explanation about things. And again, you know, to me, that when you get into people who are in that circle, to me, there's always some blindness to what's really going on. Because again, you know, he's still okay with the fact that LeBron James being talked about in the top 2 conversation. I think he still gives LeBron James more credit than what he actually deserves, considering how LeBron James has went about his career. Now, I actually don't think that LeBron is in Kenny's top 5. Now, if he's in his top 5, he's probably towards the bottom of that top 5. But like I said, a lot of the talk is still giving LeBron James more credit than what I believe he actually deserves. But anyway, he talks about how they are different defensively. And this is what we've always talked about. It's like LeBron James has had some great defensive moments, but he is far from the defender that Michael Jordan is. He's far from the defender that Kobe Bryant is. He's the most inconsistent superstar we've ever had. He's the most inconsistent defender that we've ever seen. Hasn't been on a defensive team since the Miami years. I mean, we can go on and on about this guy's lack of defensive prowess and really how they have overblown his defense. I mean, number one, defense take effort, and as LeBron James has showed, effort is not something that he's really willing to put in. He wants everyone else to put in the effort for him while he reaps the rewards. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into this clip.
There's no one like that. He is the most complete basketball player, and then there's two.
Yeah.
Most effective, like LeBron James is effective. He can impact the game, you know that, but I just don't think defensively is where, that's the separation to me, is where defensively, we used to run, I don't know if y'all did this, we used to run plays, right? We go, okay, our coach, Rudy T, be writing on the board, he's like, okay, we're gonna run 5. But if Michael's on the right side, we're gonna run it on the left. It's like, all right, say it one time, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a joke. So I'm like, in my mind, I know Michael as Mike, so I'm still listening as he's still my boy, kind of.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, and we're gonna run 21, but if Michael's on the left side, we're gonna run, and he go down each play and say where Michael was, and we're gonna run it on a different side. That's the impact defensively he had. Did they do that? I don't know if
Absolutely.
that's the part that even when I talk to coaches, they don't say that he has that impact. LeBron has the same effect on the offensive end that Michael has because his passing, rebounding. But on the defensive end, that's the caveat that separates it.
All right, so fanboys, you heard that. You heard that they would actually run plays on the opposite side of the floor where Michael Jordan was going to be. This is defensive impact, especially for a shooting guard or guard, I would even say small forward. Like back in the days, big men were really the ones with the serious defensive impact. You know, whether you're talking about your Dikembe Mutombos, your Alonzo Mournings, players like that, or even going back, you know, talking about your Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, you know, because big men were like the last defense. Like if you came to the basket, you better have some skills to be able to get off that shot, because the great shot blocking big men were there to block your shot. They were there to impede whatever it is you were doing. So again, this is kind of also really ties into that notion of how Michael Jordan defied conventional wisdom, you know, because it was big men who were looked at as that real defensive presence. Not that there weren't great defenders who were smaller players. Like even you going back to the Boston Celtics, you talk about guys like Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson was a great defender. You talk about guys like Michael Cooper. You know, there were the smaller players who were great defenders. But I can't think, and if any of you guys know in the comments, I can't think of a smaller player who had that kind of defensive impact to where coaches were saying, okay, wherever Michael is, we're running a play on the opposite side of the court. To me, this also plays into the fact, because we've heard this about Michael Jordan, and you heard that Mark Jackson agreed with that sentiment. He was saying, yeah, we did that too. You know, so this was something that was known around the league. You heard about several coaches who said, hey, look, whatever play we're running on the opposite side of the court as Michael Jordan. And so this also plays into this notion when they keep trying to hype up Scottie Pippen as this super defender. And I'm not taking Scottie Pippen was for sure an elite defender, but was he better than Michael Jordan as a defender? I would say there were some defensive assignments that Scottie maybe was better at defending just because maybe the size of the player or whatnot. And, and just being, other variables. For just different variables may have made Scottie a better defender in certain assignments. And I'm saying may have. But as an overall defender, to me, Scottie is not the defender that Michael Jordan is. Number one, how could he be? How could he be from this standpoint alone? Defense, at the end of the day, is about effort. Defense isn't glorious. Defense is about effort. But just based off Michael Jordan's mentality of needing to be top dog on both sides of the court. Again, we just did a video where we listened to not only Scottie Pippen himself say that Michael Jordan is the one who gave him the confidence. Michael Jordan is the one who showed him the importance of being in the gym every day. But we heard from other players and Phil Jackson also saying how Michael Jordan not only groomed the rest of his teammates, but took a special grooming to Scottie Pippen. So someone who has that mentality, who has that killer instinct, and has the need to dominate both sides of the ball. I would say just off of the mentality alone, you would have to assume that Michael Jordan is the better defender, just off mentality alone. But again, for those of us who watched back in the day, like I said, I cannot say that Scottie Pippen is a better defender than Michael Jordan. I would have to give it to Michael Jordan, just in totality, on a night-to-night basis. Michael Jordan was the overall better defender. I really don't think it's an argument for Scottie Pippen in that, again, except for the fact that fanboys like to try to prop up Scottie Pippen simply to diminish Michael Jordan. So yeah, teams ran. So going back to what I was saying about this ties into Michael Jordan defying that conventional wisdom of you needing a dominant big man to win. And again, with the exception of Isaiah Thomas, but even he had Lane Beer. And while Lane Beer might not have been the greatest offensive threat, Lane Beer was a presence, for better or worse. Whether he was willing to knock you out the air or whatever, he was a dominant mental presence that Chicago never had. So really, in that sense, the Pistons still had some tough big men. They might not have been the most skilled big men compared to some of the other big men in the league, but they had tough big men. So in that sense, Michael Jordan is really the only one who really defied that conventional wisdom by, the whole team was built around Michael Jordan, a two guard. And again, if you go look, if you want to throw Isaiah Thomas in that, with the exception of Isaiah Thomas, before Michael Jordan, it was teams with big men winning. And after Michael Jordan, it went right back to, including when he retired in 94, 95. It went right back to teams with a dominant big man winning. Like I said, including right after Jordan retired for the second time before he came back to the Wizards. Whether you're talking about, the San Antonio Spurs or the Lakers getting their three-peat in there, like before and after Michael Jordan, and even, all the way up to date. I think with the exception of Steph Curry having a dominant big man with the Warriors dynasty, and and if you want to include LeBron James for forming a super team, but at that point, to me, you've negated everything, But outside of that, it is still big men who dominate. Even the way that big men play now, when you're talking about somebody like Jokic, for the most part, it is still big men who have been dominating. Whether you talk about Giannis getting his championship in there. So Michael Jordan defied that conventional wisdom. But like I said, this ties into it defensively, because most of the time it has been big men who are the dominant defensive presence. Like I said, especially back in the day when they actually provided some resistance in the lane from people getting these wide open dunks and wide open layups like we see in today's modern NBA. Again, this is why the highlights look so ridiculous. It's hard to watch modern NBA highlights because it's like, I don't care that you can blow past one person and get a wide open dunk. I don't want to watch 10 minutes of that. That is boring when you come from an era of watching Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, like having to go through resistance and jump over people and dunk on 7-footers. Nobody wants to see this. So yeah, this ties, like I said, this ties into Michael Jordan defying that conventional wisdom. Another thing Kenny Smith said, he said, when he has talked to coaches today, the coaches have admitted that LeBron James does not have that same kind of effect defensively. Number one, if they said that, you know they would be lying, because we all have watched him for the last several years not play a lick of defense. We've watched it. If the coaches actually gave LeBron credit for playing defense, it would be a bold-faced lie like these fanboys and members of the CFL, the 4 and 6 Kingdom. It would be a bold-faced lie. We watched it. But yeah, the fact that he said that he has talked to coaches who admit that no, LeBron James doesn't have that same kind of effect defensively. And to me, this is what's kind of amazing, is that it seems that everyone knows this, right? It seems that on one level or another, everyone knows this, from the players to the coaches, but somehow nobody talks about LeBron James' defense. Like, as far as LeBron James' defense, he gets the benefit of them only talking about his defensive highlights. When it comes to LeBron James, he gets the benefit of them only talking about his defensive highlights. Like, this is what they bring up, the chase down blocks and the moments, where he played great defense on D Rose for one play. This is all they talking. He gets that benefit. But when you talk about Michael Jordan, people talk about what a consistently great defender he was. And again, Kenny Smith just told you, fanboys, that coaches would literally run plays on the opposite side of the court. I've mentioned this in the video before, but maybe it'll mean more to you fanboys coming from Kenny Smith, someone who actually played the game, someone who actually played during the Michael Jordan era, to let you fanboys know that yes, they would actually run plays on the opposite side of the court with MJ. Because not only was MJ a great on-ball defender, he was one of the greatest help defenders in the history of the game. This is why he had so many steals. This is why you will see so many highlights of him blocking 7-footers, fanboys. Not picking on small people like LeBron James does. Like, they want to show the highlight of him dunking on Jason Terry. And it's like, who cares after Jason Terry did you so bad in 2011? I don't care that you just dunked on Jason Terry. They want to show him blocking Iguodala. You like, LeBron James is always getting his highlights off of smaller players. Michael Jordan was blocking 7-footers. Again, there is no comparison defensively between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Now, something Kenny Smith said, like I said, to me, when you're in that circle, there's always some level there's always some level of willful ignorance, or always some level of ignoring the obvious, because Kenny Smith said, I think LeBron James is just as impactful offensively because of the scoring and passing and whatnot. But this too is false. LeBron James offensively is just like he is defensively. Now, I would say is not as bad defensively. Again, because we know LeBron James abandoned defense years ago. He just simply doesn't play it. But offensively, he's inconsistent as well. So to say he can impact, I would say he had the talent to do so. He's had moments, but to consistently impact the game offensively like Michael Jordan, this is false, Kenny Smith. This is not true. You cannot put him in the same realm offensively as Michael Jordan. But anyway, fanboys, I hope your day is going terrible. I hope this made it a little worse. We gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you haven't seen that interview, you should go check it out. Go check out the whole interview. I thought it was good. And to me, Kenny Smith always does a great job of explaining certain things. Not only did he talk about the hand checking, but he also explained how hand checking actually affects your court vision. And this is fact. For those of us who play ball and know how the hand checking affects you, he was like, look, when someone is hand checking you and you're setting up the offense, you normally have to kind of turn your back to them. And if you turn your back to them, that is impeding some of your vision of the court. Because today's players have the benefit of not worrying about hand checking ever. They can always face up, which is why you see LeBron James dribbling shoulder height right in front of people. Again, this is what I don't understand is how all these players are supposedly so athletic, supposedly more skill. You know, if they're great defenders, why is LeBron James dribbling shoulder height in front of you? Like that should be a steal every time. Oh, I forgot. He's allowed to stiff arm. Well, there you go. Oh yeah, we forgot that small part where LeBron James is allowed to just stiff arm his way to the goal. Okay, well there you go. But yeah, because these players don't have to worry about hand checking, they're able to face you up all the time, and that gives you better vision of the court. But if someone can put their hands on you, that means you have to use your body in a way to protect yourself from that contact to make sure that you don't lose the ball. This provides a different dynamic for what you are able, not only how you're able to dribble, but how you have to use your body to protect the ball, which then can limit your vision on the court, because you have to turn your body in a certain way to make sure that you're protecting the ball at all times. But anyway, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about Kenny Smith's talking about Michael Jordan's defense and how teams would have to run plays on the other side? What do you think about Kenny Smith still giving LeBron credit for being as effective as Michael Jordan on defense? Again, like I said, there's always going to be a certain amount of blindness in people who are connected to that circle. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.